Hi. Um, I am coming to show you a video of kind of the system that I have dialed in for building a journal as far as organizing your supplies and your ephemera and the process of pulling everything in and organizing papers and things like that. So I just wanted to share it with you. This is the journal I am working on right now. And as you can see, I'm on a little round table. First things let's start with, I'm going to cough. And if I sound breathy, I'm sorry. We have air quality control or air quality issues right now because there's fires on the other side of the mountain in Spokane. And I have asthma, so it's really affecting me after a week of this just air. So if I'm coughing or sound croupy, I'm sorry. That said, this is my process. I'm in here in my living room because I craft in the evenings with my husband. He's doing his thing on the couch. I'm doing my thing. This is my little area. This table's in front of my chair, and it's just about the width of my chair, so it's nice. It's round. And my little craft cart here fits next to it, and it works. I do have an office, a craft room, but I work from home, and my desk in there is set up for working and Bible study, and that's all I have room for there. And plus, I've been in there all day, so I don't want to continue to be in there in the evening. I want to be in here with my husband. So I needed, one, to be portable, two, to be organized. I do have my shelves in there with my craft supplies, and I keep those very, well, they're a mess right now, but normally I keep them. My sorting and stuff is very organized because I've tried a couple different systems, and I know everybody comes on YouTube and says, oh, they have this system to keep you organized. But what I've found is, like, I've tried the 3-bin system, and that's just, 3 bins of everything, small, medium, large, and you dig through it. And I can't do that. Maybe I have too much stuff because I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't know. But, and that's ephemera, not your like paper packs, but it just didn't work for me. But then neither did, because I don't like collect, like some people. I started in the planner like world 25 years ago, and it's like, people have like the little things where they organize the sticker by like manufacturer or whatever, and they have these stickers, and they're like little kits, and then that goes into your paper kits, and you've got them in these sleeves, and like, no, I can't be like that. Maybe I have, again, too much stuff to be like that finite. And I don't know, because like, I know like the Scrappy Wife, she does a beautiful job of organizing, and she's got the room dedicated for it, and I have a room and stuff, but I'm just not like built like that. Like, I fall somewhere between the every paper in its place versus no papers in any place. I'm somewhere in the middle, and I think a lot of people are, so that's why I'm sharing this video. So let me talk about how I do organize my papers, because that will then play into what I'm doing here, okay? So this is what I call my pink pouch. I make these pouches. I have these pouches, and everything pink goes in it, right? Paper, big paper, little paper. Not the dies. Those are too small. They get ruined, so those go somewhere else. But like everything paper-wise goes in this pouch, and I have everything separated by colors. I also have everything separated by theme. So, I'll have, like, I have Christmas, but that's in a, because I have more Christmas stuff than would fit in one of these little pouches. The Christmas is an ISIS case. So, but it's the same concept, big paper, little paper, or whatever. And so, especially when I'm collecting to build a book, like, her, I had this book in a sleeve, and then I had these die cuts, which are ridiculous. We'll talk about those in a minute, in the sleeve, and just like and I start collecting things I know I'm going to use in that sleeve. Then when I go sit down, I've got all the pieces that I thought, oh, that would be great for that journal in one place. Then I go to my pink paper. I pulled pink papers. I went to my red papers. I pulled red. I pulled a little bit of gold because, you know, she's a star. And so I went to and when I'm separating the papers, even if it's like double-sided or whatever, I use a side that I'm attracted to, because usually there's a good side and a bad side. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but that's just how it seems to go. So whatever side I'm attracted to is the pouch it goes in. Like, I don't get real hung up, just so that I can thumb through things and find them, right? That's the goal. So when I go to build a journal, I'll go through all the pouches and I'll collect the papers. And I use a lot of 12 by 12 papers. So I'll collect the 12 by 12 papers and I fold them because that's about the width that I like to work in. I'll grab, you know, some lined papers and, you know, coffee dyed papers, whatever. And so I'm building this and I have all these papers, right? And I decide, and then I sew it together. You don't use everything that you've built, so the rejects go into this bin. Okay, and I'm going to set this aside for a momentito. And then I'm going to pull my bin. So this is my bin with all the rejects and other stuff that I might want. So when I'm working in this bin, I've got all these pieces of paper. Now I'm going to grab this one, for example. So you've got those folded in half pieces of paper that you decided not to use. Or you might have had extra, right? I'll rip those in half. So my next step is I'll get my die machine out and I'll pull out some metal dies. I have favorite dies that I'll use over and over again, like my tags, and there's a corner one in here that I use over and over again. And then I have my some specialty dies that like might fit the project. So I'll take those scraps of paper, these extras, and I'll run them through my die machine, and I'll make some dies to go with the project. So a good example is this, right? Because it's I Love Lucy. I also have this like TV set. And so like this came in a die set that was like a cassette, TV, a CD, whatever. I just pulled the TV out because it matched the I Love Lucy book because, you know, TV. And I made a few of these. And then I made my favorite tags. I made, I think there's like, there was an apron from a kitchen die set I have. So I'll just, so here's the little apron because I thought that might go. Some little frames, like just whatever I thought, right? And I just made a few of them in those papers that I've used in the book. And then I made some tags out of some of the papers. And it all goes in here to work with. And like these corners. So I don't count how many I need. I always use 3 signatures. Always 8 to 10 pages each. But I don't count how many corners I'm going to use. I just punch some in the papers that I'm using here. So like that, okay? But then I also go to, because when I'm done with this project, these extra ones that I don't use will go into this. This is how I store my ephemera. So these are all these, this is my favorite corner punch. So all of the ones I punch that I don't use go in here. So when I go to do a project, I made a couple in the current papers in the book, right? But then I also was able to go through here and pull out some that I thought matched the project well. And when I'm done, everything extra that I don't use, all these corner punches are going to go back in here, and pockets. I think there's, yeah, so like that's a pocket. But it'll all go back in here so that when I go to do the next project, I have one place to go through and grab, see what I have, punch some more that match that project. So you build a collection of things that way, right? But they also stay organized. So the other things that I keep in here, sorry, what an odd angle. I was trying to do it with my hand and it wasn't working. I've tried to record this like several times. The hand wasn't working. I put a couple stencils I think might work in here. Some doilies, some index cards, envelopes, my die sets that I know I might use, like here's some little stamps, more envelopes, little circles. I didn't want to pull these out and put them in there because I probably won't use these, but they're here if I want to use them for a cluster or something. So the goal is to have everything I need for this book all at my fingertips so if I'm sitting here crafting in the evening, I don't have to stop and go look for something. If I don't have it in this organized area, I don't need it, okay? I pulled out this collection of dies. Oh, wait, okay, I'm going to put my stencils back because this is such an odd angle for you. See, like I have doilies in here. Anything I think I might use, some little nameplate things. I also have some scraps of, I use manila folders as bases to build tags and stuff. So anything I think I might use goes in here, right? So let's go back a minute. So this is my dies. These are all films, like just anything media related are in this pouch. I like these pouches a lot. They keep me organized. These are stickers actually that I would put on paper and make into dies. But I pulled this because it's got stars, film reels, you know, old-fashioned stuff, Oscar stuff, modern stuff. So there's a blend in here, and I don't want to sit here and pick out what I'm going to need because it's going to depend on the color, the situation. But I want this kit because I know it's going to match. It's going to be I'm going to pull from this a lot. So I just throw it in here. These I got specifically for this project. I don't usually buy things that are this tongue-in-cheek, but like how cute is that, right? Like I can't pull her image in any better. Like there's all of them, Fred Mertz and Ethel, and I couldn't, and this has got the Vegemite, the chocolate, all of them together, and then it's got the wine, her and the wine mashing. So I did pick this up at a scrapbook fair. Here we go. Here's in the back all that's included. It's a lot. I won't use this all in this book, but I'll add it just in a pouch to my die collection for future use. Who knows what I'll be making. That being said, so this bin is all the stuff that I've created for it. I've also collected some stuff out of my little ephemera packs that I'll show you in a minute. Some frames that might work. Some other tags I've punched. Like I said, I have a tag envelope similar to the corner punch envelope that I pulled from. So I just pull anything I think might be handy. I also went through my scrap bin and pulled some things from there because I have some of these retro papers. Oops, this goes back here. That I thought, you know, who knows? Like maybe if I'm making a cluster or something, it might fit. I've got some journaling cards that might fit. I just throw it in here so it's all together. And yes, I'll have to sort it out later, but that's okay. So I had some retro paper scraps. These are what I punched out of, but I'm keeping these in here for a reason. I like to take the manila folders I showed you and cut a tag shape and then use these strips and make what I call strip tags, which are cool. You glue strips across and then trim around the edge of the tag, and then you have these beautiful tags that are a representation of all the papers that you've used inside your journal. And if you watch my other videos, you'll see where I've done that in other journals. I do that in almost every journal. So this little bin is great just to collect the tiny stuff. These are the pieces that I might need, the doilies, the envelopes, the extras. And then There's my cart, and I'm going to stop recording and take you off the thing to show you what's on my cart that I use too. Hi, I'm back. Okay, so don't judge. You'll see more fluff from where the dogs and dog toys from where the dogs have a party. But this is my craft cart that sits right next to my little table. And there's this I keep loaded with the basics that I use crafting, but then I also reset it for each project. And here I'm going to like kind of show you why. So this, I'm going to start on the shelf. This is a jar that I keep all the hardware for a project in. So as I'm collecting beads and things that I know that I'll use for like my altered paper clips and things like that, they'll go in this jar. This is just a cloth. It's really interesting cloth. I got it at a craft expo years ago. This is if a rubber band and a ShamWow had a baby, would be the texture of this cloth, and it dries super hard and crusty, and like you can't bend it. And then when it's wet, it's super flexible, and it literally just wipes the stamps clean. I don't even know. And then it's got a container with holes in it so that it will air dry so it doesn't mildew. It's really cool. I don't know. There's no brand. There's no nothing. It was just a little gimmicky thing that was sitting at a booth, one of those booths that have everything under the sun in it. And I'm so grateful I grabbed one. And then my camera, my little 2x3 printer sprocket printer is in here. So when I reset this, so I've got a jar of paper flowers. That's where that goes. Otherwise I won't use them. I've got my little sponges. I've grabbed the colors I might need for this project. I've got always my archival ink, my distressed oxide, but then I've got some gold stamping and some pink and red. Thinking those might go with the project. I've got my sponges. I've got stamps that I think I pulled out of my stamp collection. Oh, there we go. Might go with the project. So some hearts and different stamps over here. Oop, now I'm knocking stuff over because I'm doing this single-handed. So there's just some stamps over here that match. I think there's some movie stamps. There's just whatever I thought might work, right? Then there's these hard stamps that I have in my collection. Washies I pulled, some glue. These are little stickers from when I'm shipping stuff, so I'll remember to put them on my packages. These are little clips to hold things together when I'm gluing them. I've got my scissors and stuff. I've got my pliers and stuff on these little cups on the sides. I even have a pin or two in here, my bone folder. My paper cutter. Underneath I have glitter pins. That I keep separate from like all the rest of my pins because they're kind of just fun to have a little glitter mark, which I'll like when I was doing a bee journal. I used some gold glitter and outlined colored in all the honey to give it some sparkle. This is the fibers that I've collected out of my lace drawer that might go with it, this project. So like again, this is set and ready to go. This is just all of my paper clips, bull clips, rings, all this sort of stuff, and some brads that might be useful in a project. This, and then eyelet hole covers. I have a punch, so I will do the same thing here. I'll punch these reinforcers, but I also have these reinforcers, which I will color for the tops of tags. So I have options. So I went through that one. So the bottom one is, this is my shoebox full of dies. Oh, that is my, oh look, because I spilt these earlier. So look, there's a little Lucy hanging out. That's my shoebox full of all the different dies. And I keep them here, so I'll use them. Summer dies, fairy dies, it doesn't matter. Oh, some flowery things, some washi papers. I call big stickers dies because I stick them on paper and use them like a die cut. Those are my punches that I use every day. corner punch, tab punch, circle punch. I have a book that I use for stabbing, and I do inking and stuff on here. It's just nice to have something that, like, I can pen test, I can throw washi, I can, what you can see, I just use the heck out of it. I also use it for, like, when I'm when I'm using my awl to punch the books. I use that to save my table. Let's see. And I even have some clear packaging in here in case I want to make like a little window. So I have everything I need here. I think. For the most part, like, I mean, you're going to inevitably have to go look for something, but this really keeps it down. These are, again, like what I said is I just punch a bunch of, these are tabs for tags. Tabs for tags. Wilfin. Anyways, you know what these are. So I have so many of them in here already punched, because whenever I have a scrap piece of paper that's the only thing it's good for, I punch it and throw it in this bag. So that when I need a tag, I can just go in here and grab one of a similar color or something. So when all is said and done, I'll make tags out of what's left there, and I'll put it in here for future use. And then everything, when I'm done with this project, all these scraps, sorry, because I was just filming with using that. All these scraps and stuff will go in the dies will go in the appropriate die sleeve, like this, right? Because I have several of these with different types of dies in them. But the scraps will go in, I have a double shoebox size of just scraps, right? And so everything will get dumped in there. So when I go to do the next journal, I'll thumb through it, find what might fit, and it'll go in the bin. But it doesn't all live in the bin all the time. I hope this has been helpful. I know it's long, and I don't know. It's just, you got to find the sweet spot that works for you, that encourages, you want to spend time crafting and creating. You don't want to spend all your time looking for stuff, right? And I just felt like, and especially needing it to be portable, I really had to come up with a system that was refined, right? Because this isn't a lot to have to, if it's not here or on this cart, likely I don't need it. Oh, and I do have my glue. Please don't judge me. I have my glue over there on this bookcase because I don't want the dogs or cats to knock it over. So it's safe over there. If the dogs get to wrestling, they knock the cart over. Oops, they knock the cart over. Or something bad happens, the glue's not going on my carpet. That's priorities, you know. So I hope, and you can see from the fluff and the tennis balls and the dog toys, they're big dogs and they can destroy things pretty quickly. So that's why the glue's over there. But I do keep my glue in the living room with me. I just keep it on the bookcase where they can't get to it even by accident. And my cat really doesn't access over there either. So, geez, I just hope you guys enjoy, you get some creative ideas, if not, you know, being the portable and maybe the color pouches, I don't know. If any of this helps you, leave a comment. I'd love to hear if, you have something to add to make my life easier. I'm all for it too. So happy crafting, guys. Bye.